Properly understanding support and resistance is one of those things that can just greatly increase your profitability and your success as a trader with almost instant effect. Okay, it's one of the most important technical analysis concepts, yet it's one of the concepts that traders most frequently get completely and utterly painfully wrong. We're going to fix that, hopefully, in this video. Hey YouTube, Christopher Gusbin, CEO and head trader of KickStart Trading. In this video, as I said, we're going to be talking about support and resistance. Now, support and resistance is one of the most important technical analysis concepts that you can learn. It also happens to be something that traders most frequently get wrong. And so I'm going to show you how to find the levels properly, as well as talk to you a little bit about why we care about support and resistance levels, right? We care about support and resistance levels because we know that the market does not move in straight lines. That's right, it moves in waves, okay? And so if the market moves in waves, then it's important for us as traders to be able to identify, where turning points in those waves are going or are likely to occur. And when I say turning points, I mean, that can be anything from a major turning point to just a very, very minor retracement. Okay. The point is, it's a turning point to where, momentum is moving away from the bulls to the bears or vice versa, right? Momentum's moving away from the bears to the bulls. Even, again, as I say, even if just on a temporary reprieve. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the charts. But before we go any further, folks, if you like the content you're seeing and if you want more content like it with tips, tricks, and advice from a professional trader who's been doing this a long time, go ahead and hit the like button for us and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the chart. So go ahead and open up a chart, any chart. If you'd like to follow along on this, I am looking at the Pound Aussie daily chart. Okay, and the very first thing we want to do is we want to just kind of compress the chart a little bit and just get a sense for what's going on. Okay, now the first little tip that I want to share with you here, the first little trick, is if you can't see the level from this distance, in other words, if you zoom out and you can't see that level isn't sticking out at you, then it's not a support or resistance level, okay? Plain and simple. Don't waste time on it. It's not a support and resistance level. Now, I want to show you a really easy way of doing this, okay? And we're going to start first with support, and then we'll look at resistance. So when we're looking for support, okay, the first thing I want to do is starting at current market. Okay, I want to go from current market and I want to just kind of come across until I make contact with the candles again. In other words, right, as I leave away from current market here, right? So as I move away from here with my mouse, you see all this open space where there are no candles. I'm not touching any candles. Okay, I want to keep on going just until all of a sudden, right here, there you go, I'm touching candles again. Okay, and so once I do that, once I make contact with the candles again, I want to find the most recent low, and by low I mean official low. Okay, and go ahead and view my video on official highs versus official lows if you haven't checked that out already. Do check out the video on official highs or official lows, okay? But this needs to be an official low. And so one of the things I can do to help me in that regard, in terms of identifying, official lows and official highs quickly, is I can use the fractal indicator. Okay, so I can just go ahead and turn this on. And when I put the fractal indicator, all that really does is it just identifies the highs and the lows, the official highs and the official lows in the market. Okay, it identifies official lows by putting a small little green dot at the base of the low, and it identifies the highs by placing a similar red dot at the tip of the high. Okay, and so in this case, you can see I've got 3 official lows that are being called here, but I only want one, right? When they're this close together, I only want one. So in other words, I'm not going to start coming in here and dropping in a bunch of lines and saying, right, okay, that's support, that's support, that support, right, that support. Okay, technically that's correct, technically, but just from, a practicality perspective, it's just not practical to, be looking at all of these levels individually like that. What's more practical is to kind of clump them together and view this as more of like a range rather than a fixed price point level, if that makes sense. Okay. For purposes of keeping the charts nice and clean, because one of the things you'll learn about me, folks, if you haven't already, for those of you who have followed me for a long time already, you know that for me, a cluttered chart is like sacrilege. That's one of the worst things you can possibly do, right? So we like clean charts, nice and neat, nice and clean. And so what we want to do to achieve that is consolidate all of these levels together into the most relevant levels. Okay, and so the way we do that is I'm just going to delete all those there. Okay, again, starting from the top, I'm starting from current market and using the Crosshair tool, which is, plays a particularly helpful role in this because we automatically have that horizontal line jetting straight across, so we can already see, before we even get there, we can already see where the levels are. Okay, but using the Crosshair tool and starting from current market, I'm just going to work my way right across, and I'm going to keep going until I make contact. I can see I make contact right here, and at this point I can see I have 1, 2, 3 lows all very close together. And in this situation, when I have 3 lows that are all very close together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the lowest of the 3 lows, right? The lowest of the 3 lows, and that's going to be support 1. Okay, so if I label this, this is going to be support or S1. Okay. Usually when we're identifying our levels of support and resistance, you want to go from anywhere between 3 and 5 levels of support and resistance, realistically. Okay, 3 and 5 is kind of the sweet spot there. Okay, and so that would be support 1. Now, the trick here is I just want to repeat the process, right? So it's just the same exact process over and over and over again. So this time, rather than starting from current market, I'm just going to start from, where I left off previously, which is right here, right? And so from this low, I'm going to go ahead and keep going across just until I make contact. And obviously, in this situation here, obviously the contact happened very, very quickly. Again, we're just going to go to the low, right? We're just going to go to the most relevant low and the lowest of the lows, because technically that's a low right there too, but it's not really, of that much interest. Okay, so we want to go to the next low, which is going to be this one here. Okay, so that's support 1 and now support 2. Okay, again, I'm going to repeat the process all over again. So this time starting from this low, and I'm going to go across. I'm going to keep on going just until I make contact, and then I'm going to come down to the most recent relevant low. It's going to be this one here. Okay, so we've got support 1, support 2, and now support 3 all lined up. Let's go even further than that. Let's go to support 4 and 5. Okay, let's identify 5 levels of support. We'll try to do the same thing for resistance. We may not be able to, but we'll try to. Okay, and so again, from here. And, again, before I go any further, again, just to circle back to what I said earlier about, these levels being levels that you should be able to see from a distance. This is true, when we're actually plotting the levels as well, right? When we scroll out, okay, like so, when we crunch the chart together like so to get a longer term view here, right? If the level doesn't pop out at me and I can't see it from a distance, then it's not a relevant level of support or resistance. Plain and simple. Okay. Now, from support 3, which is this line right here, of course, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. And we're going to move across just until we make contact. And here again, we have another level. Now, in this case, because these levels are so close to each other, I can actually, and this is best practice, I can actually just move this support 3 to the lower of the two levels. And again, you get sort of a range here. Rather than a fixed price point level, you get sort of a range of support, right? So you should anticipate that, support will hold in and around this region, okay? And then we get from this low, okay, I'm going to continue. So again, stretch across just until I make contact. There's contact. And then I come down with another level. There would be support number 4, okay? Support number 4. And then finally, the last level, support number 5. Again, I'm just going to repeat the process. So from that low, I'm going to move on across, come on down to the low here. And this one here will be support number 5. Okay, so we've got support 1, support 2, support 3, support 4, and support number 5. Now, a couple of additional things to note about support and resistance. And do keep in mind, this video is not the fully comprehensive guide on support and resistance. For a fully comprehensive lesson on support and resistance, you'll have to consult our Ultimate Forex Trading course, where we go in detail into all aspects of support and resistance. But just, to give you to get you going, to give you a start, this is a really good place to start. And this information should help, immeasurably, it should help, and with almost immediate effect in your trading, okay? And I'm going to explain why in a moment. Just hold on. Let's go ahead and find our resistance levels first, and then I'll come back and explain why this should help in such a tremendous way, okay? So again, we're going to use current market as the guide. Using current market as the guide, we're going to go ahead and this time, rather than going down to find the lows, we're going to go up to find the highs. So from current market, I'm going to go on up just until I make contact with the candles. Okay. Now, this here, of course, would be resistance 1. Okay, so resistance 1. And then I'm just going to rinse and repeat, right? Same exact process. That's resistance 2. That's going to be resistance 3. That's resistance 4. And these two being so close together, that's going to be resistance 5. Okay, so again, we have support 1, support 2, support 3, support 4, support 5. And then we have resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, resistance 4, and resistance 5. Okay, great. Why do I care about these levels? A couple of things. First of all, as the market moves in waves, something is causing those waves. It's levels of support and resistance, okay? And we know, based on the Ultimate Forex Trading course, what I teach you is that trading is essentially a game between the bulls and the bears. It's a contest between the bulls and the bears. And out in the live market, as we are here, as price progresses, the bulls score a goal and pull back, and the bears score a goal and pull back. What do I mean by that? Well, as the market moves, right, and takes out support 1, for example, this first level right in here, okay, what we can anticipate is that the market will then pull back, right? Because what's happened here is the bears have scored a goal, and now we're pulling back. And then if the bears are still going to remain in control, then the next level would be support 2, in which case, again, I should anticipate that we score the goal and then pull back again, right? Same thing again with support 3, right? And the same is true for resistance. Same is true going the other way, right? So rather than going down, we go up. And as we touch these levels, we should anticipate a pullback, right? The market scores a goal and then retraces. Scores a goal and then retraces, okay? And so how does that help in terms of your trading? Well, answer me this. Have you ever been in a position, or have you ever gotten into a position where, let's say it looks great for a buy, right? Let's say everything's, looks wonderful for a buy. And so, I'm going to go ahead and take that buy. Let's say, for example, this is actually a prime example right in here, okay? And of course, I'm just for argument's sake, let's just forget all other factors, okay? Let's just say, for example, you saw this and you thought, right, engulfing bull, perfect, I'm going to buy, right? And then you go in, and then next thing you know, all of a sudden the market starts pulling back on you and going against you, only to then turn around and end up going in the direction you were going in the first place, right? So how many of you, have had that happen, right? Where you get in a trade, it almost immediately goes against you. You get out of the trade, and then as soon as you get out of the trade goes in your direction that you wanted to go in the first place, right? That's because you were dealing with levels of support and resistance, hidden levels of support and resistance, and you just didn't know it. Now you do.